Okay, so far this week we've been reading The Eruption of Mount Shasta. So we've read the first 4 chapters. What's happened, Preston?
Well, there's this mountain called Mount Shasta, which Kyle thinks it's about to erupt because of all the earthquakes. And Kyle has this animal named Oz and a bird, which is another animal named Raven. And Raven is actually a crow. Go figure.
Hey. Okay, we're going to finish. We're going to read chapters 5 through 9. And while we're reading, I want you to look for some problems that we find in the book and look for their solutions.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to read a paragraph and then you can read a paragraph. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now before, when they had the earthquake, that was, do you remember, 4 a.m.? That was 3 days ago. Okay? So, it is 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, 3 days after the last earthquake. Kyle is sitting on the couch watching a soccer game on the television. Oz is curled up at his feet. Raven is on his perch in the kitchen, looking kind of nervous.
Suddenly the ground begins to shake and rumble. Mount Shasta is erupting. The explosion rocks the house and it sounds like the whole world is being blown to bits. Kyle races to the window to look at the mountain. What he sees sends a chill through his whole body.
What do you think he sees?
He probably sees the mountain erupting.
What do you think comes out of a mountain when it erupts?
Lava.
Above
Which
the
is
mountain,
really molten rock. Sorry, I had to add that in.
above the mountain is an enormous gray cloud of dust, and is spewing from the top of Mount Shasta. A humongous cloud is billowing upward like a giant mushroom. The ground is shaking, and the shaking gets worse with each passing second.
Kyle's legs feel weak, and his knees are like rubber. His parents run into the room with Janet in his dad's arms. His mom is calm and composed. She seems to be more in control of what needs to be done. Kyle looks at her for instructions.
She's composed. What's that mean? Do you know?
When she's composed, she appears to have everything under control.
Yes. Would you have everything under control? Do you think your mom would be calm and composed if a volcano was erupting?
No.
Get your jacket. We have to leave now. We don't have long. Her voice is firm and strong, but Kyle can feel a hint of fear in it. As they gather their belongings, there's a pounding on the roof of the house. Small rocks and pieces of pumice are beginning to fall out of the exploding cloud of dust and ash.
Kyle's father hurries everyone out the door. A rain of ash and dust begins to fall. Kyle's father works for the Forest Service, and he knows this is a bad sign. The situation is about to get very ugly. There's little time to waste.
Just then, Kyle looks for Raven and Ox, but doesn't see them. Where's Raven? Where's Ox? We can't leave without them. Kyle is near tears. Would you leave without your pups?
No, I wouldn't. Come on, Kyle. We can't wait for the animals. They'll be okay. Dad hasn't done anything that Left Behind is going to be okay. But they have to leave right now. There is no time to look for the dog and the bird.
I'm not leaving without Oz and Raven. Kyle struggles free from his mother's hand and runs toward the house. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think is going to happen?
I go straight back to my animals. The eruption continues. The cloud of dust and gas has grown so large that it blocks the sun and leaves. The whole area is the area with the shadowy is feeling of a nightmare. A bright red glow appears around the top of the mountain from the lava. pouring out of the throat of the volcano. The heat is melting the glacier that keeps Shasta prone in the ice year-round. An avalanche of water and mud is flowing down the mountain, headed for several towns at the base of the mountain.
You want to be there? With the water heading towards you? What about the lava? Oz and Raven are Kyle's best friends in the world. He can't imagine living without them. Oz was born in the same month as Kyle, and they have grown up together. And Kyle thinks of Raven as almost human. The thought of leaving him to fend for himself in the thick cloud of dust and ash is unthinkable.
Pieces of pumice and bouncing off of Kyle's head as he runs towards the house. But they are light. They sting as they hit, but they don't hurt all that much. Kyle can hear the parents imploring him to turn around. But he refuses to leave without Oz and Raven.
If they implore him, do you know what that means?
To implore means to please or beg, to display honesty and hope.
So do they want him to go back in the house?
No.
Or they want him to leave?
Leave.
Why do they want him to leave?
Because there's lava.
There's lava. Kyle hears Raven cawing off to his side, flying alongside him as he runs. Find Oz, Raven. Find Oz. The crow flies higher into the sky, risking his own injuries from falling rocks. After a moment, he swoops back down and flies beneath the tree line as though he wants Kyle to follow him.
Kyle follows Raven down the street, and after a few moments, Kyle realizes they are heading towards an old barn where Kyle just had a clubhouse. They hang out there all the time with Oz and Raven. In the confusion, Oz must have ran to the old hangout, a place where he's always felt safe. Kyle realizes that Oz must be disorientated and just as afraid as he is.
If he's disoriented, what's that mean?
He's lost or confused.
Awesome. The rain of dust and ash is getting thicker, with almost 6 inches of gray stuff on the ground. Kyle keeps running, trying to stay beneath the trees as much as possible. Raven circles back and waits for him, then continues to lead the way.
When they reach the clubhouse, Oz is crawling at the front door trying to get inside. As he scratches the door, he is barking and whining. Kyle sees him and is relieved that that his friend is okay. Come here, Oz. Come to me. Recognizing a familiar voice, Oz comes running, still barking and whimpering. For a big German Shepherd, you sure are coward. Come on, boy. Let's get out of here.
What do you think Bo would do?
He'd probably run off in fear.
Think he'd run off in fear?
And probably forget about me.
Guess you gotta track him down. Larger chunks of pumice are now raining down on Shasta City. The eruption is still getting more violent, with more lava spewing from the crater. An avalanche of mud and ice is racing down the western slope of the mountain, leveling everything in its path. The hot wind generated by the volcano's intense heat has flattened a whole section of forest. Trees topple like dominoes.
The size of the cloud over the land far from the mountain has reached the critical mass, and it can no longer continue to expand. The collapse that follows it will wipe out everything in its path. There will be no survivors. Everything will be burned in ash, especially as it is.
You want to be buried in ash? You think your mom wants to be buried in ash?
Probably.
How do you think his mom and dad are feeling with him not there and things are getting worse?
Probably scared.
Probably scared. Raven leads them back toward Kyle's house, where his parents are frantically awaiting his safe return. Janet is curled up in the back seat of the car, oblivious to what is going on. She's oblivious? Does she know what's going on?
No. Kyle runs for his life with large pieces of pumice rain down all around him. Oz at his heels, and Raven is dodging chunks of pumice at his wing flap widely. Another earthquake strikes. The quaking ground makes it impossible for Kyle to stay on his feet. He crashes on the ground. He falls hard and stunned. As he lays, a small tree collapses under the weight of the ash, and ash that had accumulated on its leaves and branches. The tree falls and partly covers Kyle in ash and broken branches. Leaves trapped him, unable to pull himself loose.
Oz, come here, boy. Go home. Get Dad. Kyle tries to push Oz away and send him for help, but his friend is loyal and stays by his side. Please, Oz, go get help. I'm stuck and I can't get out, and I think my leg is broken. Go get Dad. You think Bo would go get Dad? Or is he staying with you?
He'd run away.
He's gonna run. He's not even staying with you?
He'd leave me behind. Raven lands at Kyle's side and crawls a couple of times. This is his chance for an opportunity for Raven to live up to his name. If he gets Kyle's dad, he will be able to prove he is worth a simple crow. Maybe he won't need therapy after all. Raven takes off and flies to get Kyle's dad.
Think he's gonna get him?
Mm-mm.
Would you trust a bird? No? Why not?
Because they dumb.
Oz licks Kyle's face and barks, but there's no one left to hear him. Oz won't leave Kyle here alone, so he begins to pull some of the tree limbs off Kyle, but the large limbs are too difficult for Oz to move, and Kyle remains trapped.
Kyle is suddenly very afraid, and his whole body shakes. He tries to stop, but he is crying now, stabbling with fear. He doesn't want to die, not here, not so young. Oz licks his face and whines, feeling Kyle's fear intermingled with his own.
What do you think? If you're trapped under a tree with a bunch of water and lava and ice coming towards you, how are you going to feel?
Scared.
Scared. Raven soon finds Kyle's family, and he calls for them to follow him. He takes off, then circles back to see if they are following. Suddenly, Kyle's mother figures out that Raven wants them to follow him. They head off in the direction that Raven is flying. In only a couple of minutes, they are at Kyle's side. Kyle's dad lifts a large branch from his legs. Kyle gets up and limps to the car with Dad's help.
Just as they reach the car, Kyle looks up as he hears an incredibly loud, thunderous crack and sees the ash cloud begin to collapse. Millions and millions of tons of ash, dust, and pumice stone rains back down. Kyle's dad understands immediately what is happening and hurries everyone into the car.
What do you think's happening?
The volcano is starting to produce more lava.
More lava? You want to be there? Come on! We have to get out of here. Everybody in the car! Hurry! He's frantically trying to get everyone in the car and settle before the surge cloud can gather too much speed. Oz curls up between Kyle and Janet on the back seat, and Raven perches in the back of the SUV.
Kyle watches out the rear window as massive cloud of ash and dust rains down on the valley towards the city. There is enough ash in the cloud to bury the entire city, and it seems to be moving faster than the car. Kyle's father tells everyone to make sure they are buckled in, and says to hold on tight. He takes off like a race car driver and tries to outrun the descending cloud of dust and ash.
Think they're gonna make it?
Maybe not.
Fallen trees, abandoned cars, and very large stones litter the road. The surge cloud is gaining on them. Kyle's dad heads straight for the freeway, driving over lawns and through fields.
Raven is back wishing he had flown on his own. He can make much better time than any car. The cloud behind them looks closer. Still, Kyle's dad drives like crazy, racing towards the freeway. As they reach the outer edge of Shasta City, the cloud is gaining on them and about to overtake them. A few large rocks hit the roof of the sedan, and it sounds like someone is pounding with a sledgehammer.
Looking out the windows, they see a gray cloud of dust and ash where they used to live. Lava is flowing down the side of the mountain and may soon reach the city. They have escaped, but they are relieved but sad, knowing their house is buried beneath mud and ash.
As stories of heroism emerge, Kyle is recognized for his bravery in saving his dog. Raven is also recognized for his role in the rescue mission. Kyle's wish to see himself on TV comes true. Camera crews and reporters gathered around, eager to hear the story. The next day, everyone reads about Kyle, Oz, and Raven, and they see them on TV. Kyle becomes worried that all the attention may go to Raven's head. Raven may begin to think he is as smart as a raven. Instead of the crow he is, it could take years of therapy to get him back to his normal self.
So they make it?
Yeah.
That's the beginning of it. So what kind of problems did they encounter?
Mount Shasta and the earthquakes.
Earthquakes. What else?
The crow. No, not crow. Oz ran off.
So how'd they fix that?
Crow found him.
Raven found him?
Yes. Dang it.
What else happened? What about when they were going back to his parents?
Kyle broke his leg.
How did you do that?
A tree fell on him because, I forget. Because the tree was buried in ash, and the force of the ash pushed down the tree.
So, what happened? How did he get out of that?
Raven found Kyle's mom and dad and made them follow him, and his dad lifted up the bigger branches that Oz could not get off of him.
Awesome. Any other problems that they encountered after that?
The cloud was gaining.
What'd Dad do?
Dad was driving like a race car and he could have crashed.
He could have.
But he didn't.
That's a good thing. What do you think? Did you like the story?
It wasn't bad.
That's pretty good.